Jean-Paul, would you like to read? Yes, good. Jean-Paul is one of our regulars, and he is going to do something for us this evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be back. I missed a couple of weeks. I had the flu, but here I'm back. This is a true story. I was raised in Trenton, and parents moved back up to Toronto when I was about 15, and all I could think of was getting back to the country. And all I could think of was, I'd do anything to get back to the country, to be able to live in the country. I'd do anything, anything at all. And I did. To buy my land, I worked for Humpty Dumpty Potato Chips. If there's people thinking about me now from the past, there might be someone there going, I wonder how old Humpty is doing. I didn't care for their product, but I sold their product and I bought my land. When I got to the country, I finally got a place. One of the first jobs I had was shoveling manure. And I found out what the mystery spice is in bologna and hot dogs. When it falls fresh on the shovel, that waft of vapor that comes up is the mystery spice. Another job I had, I worked shoveling sauerkraut. I did railroad ties and that too, but shoveling sauerkraut, 14 tons a day out of a cypress vat. And if you hit the pink stuff, you had to climb out of the vat really, really fast. Now, one morning, like I'd go home to my cabin, I'd take my wet clothes off, I'd hang them beside the stove so they'd dry for the morning. And in the morning I'd get up and they'd be half wet and half dry. Go back out to the car. This one morning I go out and it's 40 below and the car wouldn't start, so I had to hitchhike into work. Guy gave me a ride. We didn't talk much. Nice day, blah, blah, blah. And he dropped me and I walked into work. And I guess we worked the same shift because when I finished, I came back out and there he was. I stuck my thumb out and he was the first car to stop. So we got a little bit more conversation, and he asked me a question. He said, so what are you doing back there in the woods? And I said, well, I'm building a log cabin. He said, well, I've always wanted to do something like that. How do you go about doing that? I said, well, why didn't you come in and have the grand tour? So I showed him my place and my swimming hole and the field and the cabin. And we're walking through the living room, dining area, kitchen, the downstairs. And I got my grandmother's table and a coal oil lantern, and there's a bottle of Wild Turkey bourbon. And I saw his eyes lit on the bourbon, and I said, you're welcome to a snort, but it's too early in the day for me. He said, oh, no, thanks. So I finished the tour and walked him out to the car, and he took off. I never thought a thing of it after that. And then that spring, I was clearing up a lot of brush. So I used a couple of the neighbors' kids to stack brush so I could burn it and compost it and stuff. And I paid them a couple of bucks and they went on their way. It worked out well. But about 2 weeks later, their mother came in the pathway, and it was really rugged back then. There were 2 logs across the river and a little trail through the woods and stuff like that. And I was just there in a cloud of black flies and mosquitoes. And so I said hello, and kind of wondering why she was there without her husband. She said, we talked a bit, and I said, nice day, blah, blah, blah. And I said, so what can I help you with, Maureen? And she said, well, I have to ask you a question. because I'm a good mother. And I thought, okay, okay, you can ask me a question. So she said, I was in the Pentecostal church in Bannockburn last week, and a guy got up in the congregation and said that he was tempted by the devil in the guise of John Copeland. Well, I was in my 20s, and I thought that was the whole point of the 20s, to be tempting. And I was doing my best. So I said, well, I didn't say much. She said, well, after he finished testifying, a woman got up in the congregation and said she knew all about you. Me? I said, well, okay, what'd she say? She said that I get young girls into my log cabin, and I get them liquored up, and get them on marijuana, and then take them up to Toronto, get them onto heroin, and they're shipped off to Saudi Arabia. I said, Maureen, I said, part of what you just said sounded kind of tempting in a weird sort of way, but most of it, no. I've been here 2 years, haven't been laid yet. A lot of the women are so butch, they scared me right to death. But anyways, I did find out something that day. I found out that there was something that I wouldn't do to live in the country. But it reminds me of a song. Do nothing till you hear from me. Pay no attention to what is said. Why people tear the seam of anyone's dream, that's over my head. Do nothing till you hear from me. Pay no attention. Oh, sorry, I got that screwed up. Anyways. Thank you.